Well, welcome to Artist Revue. It's the last Wednesday in May, 2009. And as you know, we take our regular restaurant show and change it into Artist Revue always. So we're pleased to have another guest with us live in studio with some of her fabulous works. And we're hoping to get that opening corrected soon. I'm checking on it, so we'll have a specific opening for Artist Revue. So hopefully by next month we'll be able to show you what the whole new slick opening looks like. Anyway, I do want to say hello to, before we get into it, to Miss Lil at Noma. She was nice enough to pay us some lovely compliments at last, I think it was 1 or 2 weekends ago. They had a great two new openings simultaneously at Noma, and we were pleased to be there, and she made a big deal about the show. She's a big fan. So we're glad to hear that always, because we know our artists love to hear that people are watching them and taking in the work, and we really appreciate it. So let's move on and meet today's guests. We have Ms. Lory Lockwood. Welcome to the show, Lory.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Now, Lory and I go, I don't say way back, but I had met her several years ago, and she was at that time I call it a cooperative, like studio, which she's in a new one now, and I was looking for a particular gift item. Turned out to be a football photograph of LSU during their big winning thing, and she had done a beautiful thing, which I was lucky enough to give to someone who cherishes that particular photo. But we hadn't seen each other, and I happened upon her when we went to see her new studios, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And sure enough, we asked her, and she said, well, Bob, could we do it right before June, because her great new show is coming out. So we certainly accommodated, and we're happy to preview some of those works for you today. Lory, first of all, let's tell them a little bit about yourself, your background. I think you're a native. I know you've been here pretty long, huh?
I've been here pretty long. Been here since '67. I don't know when you get to become a native.
Yeah, no one knows.
I came down here to college, and one thing left after another, and I just stayed. Beautiful city.
Oh yeah, it really. It's got its ups and downs, but overall, it really is a beautiful city. Mm-hmm. Now, tell us, how did you first get interested in painting, and how long ago? Oh, you don't have to say precisely how long, but
I've been painting since I was a kid.
A child.
Yeah. I've always been a painter. There's nothing else I ever wanted to do, or maybe there's nothing else I did well. I don't know, but anyway, I kept painting and drawing and painting and drawing, and so
right
here we are.
Now, have you always, I know we're going to talk about a particular media you're working in this time, but have you evolved and gone through different mediums and trying experimenting with that, or you still do that as well?
I started painting in oils about 20 years ago, but prior to that, I was originally a painter in college and high school, and I got real attracted to ceramics and pottery back in the early 70s, and so I worked in that vein, making pottery and ceramic sculpture for about 10 years, and when I was teaching at Country Day, that's what I taught there.
Wow, great. Great credentials. Now, let's talk about the studios that you work at.
Well,
I call it a collective, but is that a bad term, a cooperative? What would you call that?
It's I suppose you could call it any of those things. It's just kind of a group of people who ended up renting space in the studio. And it has just been a wonderful group of people. I mean, everybody gets along. We sponsor an Open Studios event where I met you.
Right, and that's why we want to talk a little bit about that for the folks, because this is a great time not only to see Lory, but what do you think, there are about 30 artists or more?
There are 30 artists to show, and it's going to be December 6th this year.
It's great time because it's before Christmas, so you can do your Christmas shopping there. Plus, they put out some refreshments.
Absolutely.
But it's a lovely old warehouse. What is it? It's called the Mid-City Art Studio?
It's the Mid-City Studios. It's at 4436 Toulouse. And if you would like an invitation to this event, we have a website that's midcitystudios.org. Just go there and
register, whatever you do.
Register, and
so that would be great. Yeah, that'd be great, folks, because it really is. It's like going to multiple galleries in one under one roof.
Right, they're all different kinds of artists, and they do all different kinds of medium, and there's some artists that show at galleries and some artists that are completely independent. So it's a great group of people, and it's the largest, and I think one of the only big cooperatives in the city at this point.
Right.
We need more.
Well, great. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about your website, because if someone wants more information, or I forgot, is some of your art on your website? Did we discuss that or not?
Yeah,
I hope so.
My website is www.lorylockwood.com, and you have to spell Lory, L-O-R-Y.
That's the key. Lory Lockwood with a Y, not an I.com.
Right. And the website is basically up to date. The new work will be on in about a week, but it's a large website. I've had it for a long time, and you will see all different kinds of work on there, mainly cars and motorcycles, and some mannequin work. But you can go in there and look on the paintings. You can go to my print website from there, and that's called portraitsinChrome.com, and you can order prints directly from the website.
Okay. But for those who are not inclined to the mechanical or the kind of masculine image, she's gone to the other side, and she's really on the softer side this time. So what we're holding for you today, I don't know, hopefully you can see that, is the invite to Lory's new show, starting, what's the date?
It starts June the 4th, and the opening is Saturday night, June the 6th.
Okay, and tell us what's the name of the gallery?
The gallery is Soren Christensen Gallery. It's right on the corner of Julia Street and Tchoupitoulas, right across from Emerald's.
Can't beat that. And folks, for those who know anything about the art scene, they know that first Saturday of the month is just so much fun, because all the studios, for the most part, are open. Of course, maybe serving you a little beverage or something, or a little music. But more importantly, for you really to stroll in and actually take a look. So what a great place. And I think these are going to really intrigue you. Tell us the name. This is so good. People probably already guessed some of it if they can discern the invitation. Tell us what the actual name of the series is.
You can probably guess part of the name by looking at the invitation, but the whole name is Marilyn and the Dream Girls, and "the" is capitalized because, for me, this show, Marilyn and the Dream Girls, is kind of like a musical group, like Buddy Holly or Buddy and the Hollies or whatever.
Hollettes or whatever.
Yeah. So it's Marilyn and the Dream Girls, and they're a group and a musical group, and they sing songs, they harmonize, and so many of the titles of the paintings in the show are from golden oldie song titles
related to song titles.
Yeah, we've had a great time titling the pieces. It's really fun.
Well, Lory's brought us several pieces today from that, and the series is actually broken up into 3 segments. So we're going to show, first of all, and talk about the first segment, which is dedicated to Marilyn herself. She's got 2 large paintings and maybe 4 or 5 smaller ones here today. And why don't we go ahead and focus in on that first painting, and let's talk about the title and the size while the people take a look at a beautiful painting. There we go. What's the title on this one, Lory?
Bob, this is called Like a Dream Walking.
Okay. And now let's tell them about what media. Obviously, you're working on canvas.
This is oil on canvas.
Okay, oil and
just straight old master oils.
Can't beat it. A lot of people are getting away from it, but to me,
they're the best. I really have tried other mediums, but I keep coming back to this one because
it's nuts and bolts.
You can't get the kind of color.
Now, about what size? Because again, it's hard to discern the sizes here. That's why we give a little more information. Can you tell us about what size this painting is?
This is 41 by 38.
So
almost square.
So, a wonderful size. So great. This will be beautiful on any kind of wall. Now tell us basically about what are you seeing here, these 3 young ladies?
Well, these are 3 young ladies. They're a cutout, actually. And what I do to find the subjects for my work is I walk and drive around New Orleans and look at window displays.
Okay.
And I found almost all of the paintings in this show from window displays all around New Orleans. This is a salon in the French Quarter. And if you look at the painting, you'll see it's basically a cutout of Marilyn on the front. And this salon apparently collected a lot of Marilyn Monroe memorabilia. And so this is a cutout. You can kind of see between the 3 bodies, there's a landscape. But if you look around the outside of the three, you see all these metal curtains
like a
hanging,
curtain.
and you see the inside of the beauty parlor. And
So in case you got thrown by that, folks, I kind of didn't understand it either at first. She's actually shooting a photograph, first of all, through the glass of a display. So you're seeing two things. One, you're seeing what's in the display window, but through the reflection, you're seeing the actual building itself or the interior, like we showed.
Well, yeah, you either will see. Sometimes I go into the glass and do the whole interior of the window, and sometimes, as we'll see on maybe the invitation, we'll be able to show. Sometimes you see the reflection of everything that's outside the window.
Right. So it's really, and of course, then she's taking it to her studio, those photographs, and working and making these great creations. Let's look at a little smaller one now, and perhaps we can tell this is a great, great piece. And Marilyn again in trio, but in three different poses, basically. Tell us about this particular one. What size? This is almost a little square one here.
This is 20 by 20.
Oh, easy, 20 by 20 on canvas, again in oil, right?
Right.
Okay.
And this same beauty salon had all sorts of memorabilia inside, and they let me come in and photograph, and they had things like this set up all around the store, and I just took hundreds of photographs and picked the images I wanted to make paintings of, and then cropped them, and here you are. And this one is called star quality, which is a phrase that's been applied to Marilyn a lot.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
And the background is basically a poster of Marilyn that was on the wall, and then you've got a figurine.
That would be the large central figure.
Yeah, sorry, the large. Yes, right. And
tell us about that showgirl on the.
And the showgirl from one of her movies, and that was a figurine on the side. And then on the other side is a purse.
And that's what that threw me, because I thought it was a glass vase or a mirror.
It was a champagne glass.
Or a mirror. So,
but it's actually a purse with an umbrella sticking out of it.
Wow.
And these sort of reference all the ways that we see Marilyn now, and a lot of the commercial aspects of her life.
Okay. And star quality, it's called 20 by 20. Excuse me. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at another one. I love the tones on this. Let's talk about this one. Oh, look how beautiful.
Where should I be?
Okay, you got it?
Can I be behind it?
Yeah, that's right. All right, this is really, what a difference compared to those pastels. We got this vibrant, dark colors and then the bright resonance. Tell us about, and it's gallery wrap, folks. You can see it. She's reaching around.
So everything is painted from the side.
Those that don't know
whether
gallery
you can see
wrap,
that.
that's today's version of putting a frame on it, where the painting continues around each of its sides. And sure enough, her arm is reaching around, so you get the full 3D. In fact, it's very three-dimensional in this particular painting. Now, what's the title on this one we said?
This painting is called Girls' Night Out.
Girls' Night Out, excellent. And again, it's about a 20 by 20? Or
20 by 20, yes. And again, in the background, you've got some photos of Marilyn. But in the front, in one of her parts of her career, she was a grand marshal in this parade. And so you can see at the bottom corner, there's a ceramic memento of her as Grand Marshal. And you all that are Marilyn fans know that dress, that black dress with the white collar. And then there are other ceramic figurines. And this one here in the middle is probably the most famous Marilyn pose was the subway scene, where she posed in New York above
the white dress with the fan underneath.
Right, exactly. And some people think that caused Joe DiMaggio to divorce her because he just couldn't stand it. Yeah.
But what I love is with the dark colors in the background and the frame picture, and then this vibrant sunburst, especially of her in the front. All of them reflect a little bit of it, but so intense on the front Marilyn, the large end there. Just really beautiful with regard to the coloration. So there you got Marilyn 5 times for you fans of Marilyn. You really can't beat that. 5 for the one. 6? I missed it? Okay.
6. And they're all different. This is what I think is so interesting, because we think we remember Marilyn.
Right.
But if you look at the show, show, you see so many different versions of what she looked like.
Yeah, I mean, everyone remembers, of course, the white one, as you mentioned, with the white dress. But some of these others, I have to admit, I don't remember ever seeing. I don't know anything about this parade you're talking about. She was mistress of ceremonies or whatever.
Yeah, she was. So, I've read all sorts of books about her, biographies. I've read everything I could find about Marilyn Monroe.
Wow,
it's fascinating.
So you've had you've been a little bit of a devotee yourself of Marilyn.
Oh, and a researcher.
Oh, okay.
Really,
okay.
I really read and read.
Well, let's take a look now. Again, remember, folks, we're talking to Lory Lockwood. And don't forget, if you want to call in, we get a lot of calls on the Artist Review. So if you want to call in and speak to Lory or myself about the program and specifically about her work, the director always puts those numbers up for you. So don't hesitate to give us a call. As we mentioned, we're seeing her upcoming work called Marilyn and the Showgirls.
Dreamgirls.
Dream Girls, sorry. And then the first set of it is actually direct paintings of Marilyn herself. We'll move into a different segment when we go into Phase 2 or Series 2. But let's take a look at this one. And right up front, tell us what this one is, please.
This one's called The Genuine Article, which is another phrase that was used with Marilyn quite a bit. And it's sort of a humorous title because there's nothing genuine in this painting. Matter of fact, there's really nothing genuine in this whole show. It's all fantasy and make-believe, which is really fun for me. But again, these are these ceramic pieces that were made. Some of them look like Marilyn, some of them don't. And there are lots of photographs in the back. I know the one you can see with her putting her hands on the stone wall is from the movie Niagara. Which
really?
Some of you may or may not have seen. Yeah, you see the falls in the background?
Yeah, I see the falls. Yeah, but I hadn't noticed it until you brought it out.
Oh, I watched every one of her movies.
Wow.
All the they were incredible. Marilyn Monroe is an incredible actress and a very smart person, contrary to what some people think. I mean, she was quite an intelligent woman.
And again, we're talking about standard size, 20 by 20, done in oil.
Right.
And really very, very dramatic on this one, I think, because it really shows her with the upbeat look of her profession, of her career. So really, really cool. I think this is one that everyone can equate to, even though it is different versions of Marilyn. Okay, now you've got one more small one, and then we'll finish Marilyn off with another large one after this one. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, this is a beauty. Okay, what we have, look how fantastic. She almost looked like Barbie here, though. We have a little difference.
Right. Well, it is Marilyn sort of as Barbie.
Barbie of the past.
And the title of this is Baby Doll, which is another phrase that we use many times about Marilyn. And this was, again, in that same beauty parlor. And she's dressed in the dress that she wore for that subway scene. And she's being posed just like a Barbie, and she's got a bottle of wine in the painting.
Right, and Marilyn is about the size of the bottle of wine, so an interesting concept there with regard to relativity.
And this one's interesting because you can see in the upper corner, you see that white frame area. That's part of the house across the street. And if you look in the top of the wine bottle, you'll see a reflection of the sky.
Wow.
A lot of my work...
I don't know if we can get a close-up on that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get down
real
there.
Real close to the cork, where the cork is?
But, way down there. Yeah. And it's mainly a reflection of color and that sort of thing.
Right. You can see a lot more vividly. There's some shutters and all of the building in the body of the bottle itself when you get close. So there's so much going on, and once again, gallery wraps. So some of the furniture wraps around the side, and really, really excellent. Great. Again, going back to what I call the Marilyn colors, because I think the pristines of she being in that white, but always with pastel settings. Pastel seemed to be her environment, that she would glow through it, even though in the one that we saw where she was in the black background was just magnificent, but it was a whole different look to me. To me, I always imagined her with these soft colors in the back and that white dress.
Right.
Okay, now we're going to go take a look at the last part of the Marilyn series, and again, it's a large painting, and we're talking. What do you think? This is about the same. This is about the same as which size is this one, please? And the title.
Oh, this painting. I'm sorry. This painting is 30 by 40, And again, it's from the same setting as the other ones. And this one is called Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Ah, of course, from the famous movie, huh?
Right, right. But if you look, you can kind of count the Marilyns in this painting. And the large Marilyn is, again, a photograph in the back of this display case.
Magnificent, folks.
And all of the little knickknacks on the glass shelves are of Marilyn. You could even get up close and see that you can see a little tiny portrait of her in the tin on the glass, right, sort of in back of the paper.
Really, and then another, yes,
and
right.
then if you keep going over,
right. Panning over to the left,
right.
yes.
And then you have some shampoo, because this is after all a beauty salon.
Right.
This is another photograph. The subway scene is kind of hiding back there behind.
Right. It's so eerie. It's an eerie
behind the magazine rack. You see, right there.
Well, now it's it.
And if you go up, you'll see Marilyn.
See if we can see that. There we go.
Part of her wrapped in a towel. Those are her knees. You got to keep going.
Oh, I see. Yeah, over to the left a little bit
way
up.
Up. You'll get above
see if we can go a little bit more to the left. That's her right knee, I guess, or left knee.
Right knee.
Going up,
and there she is, and more shampoo and Marilyn. So it's all kind of working together. I mean, sort of the ultimate still life, I suppose you would say.
It's very well put. So, folks, we have a caller. So, Lory, let's take phone. Right. You're on the phone with Lory Lockwood. It's Rtist Revue. Who's calling, please?
This is Todd.
Hi, Todd. How you doing?
Okay. How are you?
What area are you calling from, may I ask?
I'm calling from New Orleans.
New Orleans? What area of New Orleans, may I just?
In the Garden District.
Oh, great, great. We have a question for Lory or anything?
I was always a Marilyn Monroe fan.
All right.
And now I'm really a fan of the artist.
Oh, well, thank you.
Where can I get some of your work?
Well, as we mentioned, I'm going to let her tell you, all of these plus some others, I think some others, are going to be in her brand new exhibition. It's going to be on show starting June the 4th. Let's talk about that again. And, of course, they'll be available for purchase once they're in the gallery setting, and then post that she can perhaps tell you. But let's go over again, show you this lovely invite that you can get either through the gallery itself, and of course it's open to the public. This is really just a wonderful memento. You don't have to have it to officially get in. But let's talk about the showing itself, Lory.
Hi, Todd. I'm so glad you called. If you want to see more work, call the gallery. It's Soren Christensen Gallery. The phone number is 569-9501. They can send you an invitation, or you can go to my website, lorylockwood.com, and you can go to the contact area and send me your email, and I'll send you one. But in any case, come to the show and come to the opening. It's on June the 6th, Saturday night.
Of course, Lory will be there. We'd love to meet
absolutely.
You. You can tell her you spoke to her online.
Right.
I mean, on air, so she'll love to hear that as well. And
I'll bring my partner with me.
Excellent.
And we're looking forward to meeting her.
Well,
great.
Definitely. That would be great.
Now, remember, that's right across from Emeralds on Julia and Chapatulas, June the 6th, if you go for the opening from 6 to 9, isn't it? 6 to 8, but
6 to 8. We're still there till 9 usually.
Yeah, I bet once that little wine starts flowing.
But I will expect you, Todd. I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Now, we've been looking, and as you heard Todd discussing with Lory, we're looking at her series, Marilyn and the Dream Girls, and we've finished the first set, which pertained directly to Marilyn. We're now moving into the next set, which pertain to what, Lory?
Mannequins.
Mannequins. You heard her in her opening story saying that she goes around looking in windows, store windows, etc., for mannequins and photographs those. So we're going to move a little bit away. So these are some of the showgirls, but aren't Marilyn per se. Let's talk with the first. This is a much smaller version. What size is this about?
This is 12 by 12. Now, there are some larger mannequin pieces in the show.
Remember, when this is not everything, that's why we want to entice you to come down like Todd.
This is just a sample.
Exactly.
And
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. All right.
No, I was going to say, let's talk about this particular piece. The title again is?
This is a series. All these small 12 by 12s are a series called The Dream Girls. Mm-hmm. And they all have golden oldie tunes, and I can't sing, but this is called Dancing Queen from ABBA,
Oh,
So
ABBA, that's a very
you can
famous.
sing at home, and you all, I'm sure everybody knows that. It was
Sure.
really fun to title all these. And for me, just to back up, Marilyn for me is a type of mannequin, and they all show.
So you see Marilyn as a stylized mannequin.
Well, in a way.
Oh,
I mean,
humanized mannequin,
she's a
right.
movie star. She's an idol. She's our ideal. And mannequins in store windows kind of function in the same way
Sure.
because they are being used to show off all the beautiful clothes and lifestyle and
Right. And again, the ABBA songs, for those who are our age, they'll recognize that. Let's take a look at another one of the Dream Girls. What we have here.
this is called "Say a Little Prayer."
Say a Little Prayer. I don't recognize that song.
Dionne Warwick.
Oh, Dionne Warwick.
I'm not going to sing for you, Bob.
No, we don't need Dionne's version
But,
either. But this is a great painting, much more vibrant than Dionne ever was made, even when she was with the Psychic Network. Talk a little bit about this fabulous one.
This is a mannequin that I posed, and you can actually see the mannequin doesn't have any arms, and she's all dressed up in her pearls, and she's been posed in front of a stained glass window. And she's kind of looking up.
How'd you get that vibrant hair? I mean, that is unbelievable. Day-glow orange, or I don't know what it would call that. It's just so fabulous.
You know, it's bright yellow and bright orange, Bob. And, you know, and it was interesting doing the windows in back because to make something look like glass, you can't just paint it flat. You've got to glaze and scumble and make it look like translucence is coming through.
Exactly. So, and again, we're talking about a 12 by 12.
12 by 12.
In oil.
A part of the Dream Girl series.
Part of the Dream Girl series. Don't forget, folks, you just like Todd did, don't hesitate to give us a call. We're going to move on through the next Dream Girl. And this one really, I don't know how we're going to call this Dream Girl. This is more the masculine throwback to her metal days, chrome and wheel days. What do we have here? This is a great looking one.
Well, this is called Mustang Sally. Wilson Pickett or the Commitments, depending on your radio expertise. This shows a lot of what I do with the mannequin series. You can see the New Orleans scene, houses in the back. This came out of an uptown window. There's a fabulous artist up there who does all kinds of crazy mannequin scenes in her windows. And every 3 months, 4 months, I go around and photograph something interesting. And this sort of fits into the Dream Girl series because you really can't tell whether it's a man or a woman. So I've decided this is a woman.
Oh,
and,
okay. So you're calling the shots.
And I'm calling, absolutely. And I'm calling her Mustang Sally. Okay. And this painting, and you can see even the Christmas lights and the Mardi Gras beads and whatever is crawling out of the nose. But this was the first one that got a musical title. I don't know. We were just looking at this crazy thing and thinking, what do you call this? And so Mustang Sally came out. So.
Excellent. Well, a little rougher than the others. The others seem to be so delicate with regard, but I think just a great, great look. So male or female ought to be attracted to this particular one. All right, now let's see about the one. This is really Mardi Gras, and the next one that you have in your lap, dear.
Okay. This comes from a window in the French Quarter. This is called What's New, Pussycat?
Oh, Tom Jones song.
Right. And you can see.
Tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, again, another mannequin with a mask on, typical New Orleans, white wig. In the upper background, you can see the scene across the street, which is the French Quarter balcony, and some flowers up there. And you can also see the yellow lights that is the inside of the store that this mannequin is in. And, the typical glitter and masquerade that New Orleans and Mardi Gras are known for.
So, again, most of these are as they were portrayed. In other words, it's not like that mannequin didn't have the feathers and all that stuff. This is how you saw them.
The mannequins are as they... All my work is based on photographs.
Okay. Yeah, I know, but I didn't know whether you're creating the extra emphasis, like here, the mask.
Yes, right.
But the mask actually was on, or some similar was on.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're pleased to have another caller. Excuse me for a second, Lory. Welcome to Rtist Revue. You're speaking to Lory, and who's calling and from where, please?
This is Chris calling from Uptown.
Okay. And what can we help you with?
Lory, I like those pictures.
didn't we?
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you called in. Which one did you like?
I like the one with the lady wearing with the orange hair.
Oh, the orange hair, right.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Can you please show me that one again?
Oh, sure. We're happy to. And it happens to be on Lory's side of the table, so she'll do it for you. There you go.
Let's say a little prayer for me.
Okay.
Very nice. Well, we really appreciate you calling in. And if you have chance, look her work up on, if you have a computer, on the computer, see some some of our older stuff, as well as some of this. And if you're available, don't hesitate. Remember, her gallery opening starts on June 4th, but the real Saturday is the big night, the 6th of June, from 6 to 8 at Thorenson Gallery.
Thorin Christensen.
The long, hard name to pronounce. Worse than my last name.
Okay.
And
thank you very much.
okay, thank you. And let us go ahead and we'll go ahead and continue the series. As we're saying, we're talking to Lory Lockwood. She's doing her Marilyn and the Dream Girl series. We're actually coming up to the last Dream Girl painting, and then we'll move to section 3 or phase 3 of the series. And why don't you tell us what this one is that I have for us?
This is called My Angel Baby.
Your Angel Baby.
Yeah, your Angel
I
Baby.
thought it was Angel Baby. Oh, my. Who did that? I remember it was a boy and a girl. Huh?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, never mind.
I
we don't want to tell them we're that
down.
old. We don't
Yeah.
know. People will tell us, I'm sure. But so if you have any answer to these questions, don't hesitate to
Yeah,
tell
if
us.
somebody can remember who did My Angel Baby. I have it
Okay,
written down at home.
let's talk about Angel Baby. This was much prettier than, what was that, Sweet Charlotte or whatever, that Baby Jane.
Right.
She's got that kind of a little eerie look, though, in her eyes. But tell us about this one, please.
Well, again, this came from one of my photo shoot trips around the French Quarter, and I have to say, I don't think I could do the kind of work I do in any other city, because I can walk around the French Quarter and find so many wonderful things to paint. This was, I think, in a shop window on Decatur Street, and it was real high up, and so I took the photograph and brought it home and made a painting.
So cool, so cool.
Yeah.
So glad to hear that tribute to our city. Tell us what the Angel Baby is looking at.
The Angel Baby is looking at you, looking outside,
Okay.
and sort of looking up too, I suppose. I mean, it was she was high up in the window,
Right.
So,
well, what's on the let's see, would be the left side of our screen. Now, I'm sorry, again, my eyes are deceiving me. I'm seeing something that maybe not there. If we look on right side for us, Lory, but the left side, I guess, for people. The right side.
Well, she's playing. She has
playing
sort of
an instrument.
She has an instrument. It's a lyre that she's playing.
I thought that was a bird, a parakeet, or something sitting up
and
there.
I think those are wings in the background.
Excellent.
But it's all jeweled, and it was really fun making all the.
And once again, just like the
gold.
Maryland one, we're taking that stark black reality background and put that magnificent sunlight on their face, and that reflection just really brings it to attention, almost so ethereal, almost angelic like, or really
there was
like,
a lot more in the background, but I chose to.
I think you did a good job of sequestering and just focusing on her, because having her the center was very, very religious in its view. Okay, so we've and these all have been 12 by 12s in the.
And
is
these
that correct?
are all the Dream Girls.
And all the Dream Girls. So, for those who are just joining us, it's Rtist Revue. We're with Ms. Lory Lockwood, a good friend of mine, who is a wonderful artist. She's currently previewing her new show coming up on June 4th or June 6th, that Saturday, at the gallery I can't pronounce, right across the street from Emerald's Restaurant.
Thorin Christensen, Bob.
There you go. There we go. I have tongue-tied on that. So you certainly can go to their website if you can spell it. You can go to Lory's website. Do you have anything about the showing on your website?
Not yet.
Not yet, but you will.
It's all just cars and motorcycles right now, but I will.
Oh, excellent.
Between now and next
and
Saturday.
hers is easy, of course. Hers is just LoryLockwood.com. So that's
but Lory
very
Lockwood with a Y.
with the magic Y. Don't forget that. Excellent.
Very important. Very
okay,
important.
now, so we've done Marilyn and the Dream Girls, and that's the name of the series. So what could be left? What is phase 3? Tell us.
What happened with this show is that I'd wanted to do a Marilyn show for a long time, and I'd done paintings of mannequins in the past, but since then, my work had been mainly car and motorcycles. So I
Right.
thought, well, I really don't necessarily want to be known for that. And so I wanted to do the Maryland show. Well, and somebody says, well, you've got to relate your car and motorcycles to this show. So I said, yeah, well, I could do the Spirit of Ecstasy on the rolls, and I could do a few other things like that, because there are women on hood ornaments on cars. Well, that just didn't seem to happen. But what happened was, as we go around the country, my husband and I, and do lots of car and motorcycle shows. And if anybody's ever done an art fair, you get bored half the time. And so we started photographing tattoos. And everywhere we went, California, Philadelphia, New Orleans, we would photograph tattoos. And I thought it would be really interesting to relate the motorcycle part of my work to the Dream Girls. And so I decided that why not find all the women tattoos that I collected for all this time.
And those would be tattoos of the Dream Girls.
Right. And these, I think probably if you look at this, you might not read tattoo from it. I think they became more paintings as they evolved. But that's where they started. And these also have golden oldie titles. And this one you all ought to know.
So let's go ahead and take it for now. And what's weird about these, not weird, but different about these are wonderful because they're all narrow and long. And
well, they were supposed to be kind of to
almost
imitate
full-length things, yes.
legs or arms, because that's where when people have tattoos, generally they'll be on their arms or legs. And so what I did with these is I do an awful lot of work in Photoshop. So I took a lot of these tattoos and stretched them. And the idea was to sort of imitate limbs. But I think they just ended up being in a really interesting format. And,
right. That's why when you first saw these, you told me tattoos, I couldn't figure out where was the tattoo. I thought I had to be looking for a tattoo on. But by the way, did we mention who this is, the artist?
Well, it's Crystal Gale.
Crystal Gale, for those who are C&W fans.
You make my brown eyes blue. The other thing that I wanted to mention about the tattoos, too, you have the Maryland part of the show, you have the Dream Girls, and the tattoos were originally going to be called the Crew of Tattoo. And then I was photographing one of my subjects, and she says, no, you can't call it the Crew to Tattoo, you have to call it the Crew to Tat. So there are 20 of these. We've got 4 here today, but there are 20 of these, and they will be displayed on the outside wall of the gallery. So even if you come by at night, you can see it. And they're all going to be staggered, kind of like when people are on Mardi Gras trucks, one's throwing from here and one's throwing from here. So these are all going to be kind of up and down all along the side of the gallery.
Behind glass, I hope.
Oh, yeah. But there's another thing that's happening in art now is there's a lot of art that's being made that's called street art, a lot of graffiti art and that kind of thing. And tattoos, in a way, are part of street art. And so I want to put them in the gallery. So
well, sure.
They're on
now, what size are these again? I didn't know. I know I told them it was long and narrow, but what size approximately?
These are 10 by 30. 10
by 30. So it's great for a narrow space and really, really vibrant. Let's take a look.
Everybody's got a place for one of these.
Now, you told me this one is Mustang Sally. Is that right?
I already had Mustang Sally. You can guess the title of this, Bob, can't you? Didn't I tell you? Eric Clapton. I Shot the Sheriff.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Right.
But I was really not with it
and at which point you told me, let me see if I can get that in the light better.
Yeah.
You said, "Oh, wasn't that a man?" Well, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know who shot the sheriff.
Right.
But this tattoo is from a local person. You might see this walking around the streets of New Orleans if you look carefully.
And you say that's Lory Lockwood.
Right.
No.
Right. And she's got this woman has got all sorts of vines going along her arm and all that. So anyway,
colors are so vibrant on this one. Again, we got the pest. Now, what's that in her arm? I still can't figure that out. It looks like a duck's head. What is that white thing that goes into?
Well,
what is that?
It's a gun.
That's a gun.
But when tattoo artists have to make things, And you might also notice that these are very different in style from my other paintings. When a tattoo artist makes a design, it has to be in black lines, and you have to fill it in. You can't do the molding, the modeling that you can with painting. So that gun, or even the boots up the top.
Let's study this a lot, because there's a lot going on here, and I'm not sure I got it all. So
it's a very graphically drawn gun. It's not that realistic.
Not realistic.
And what's in the top is smoke.
That's coming out of like the firepower coming out of the gun.
Exactly.
Oh, you see, I never would have gotten that.
Artistic license, etc.
Well, no, it's wonderful.
Yeah, so,
all right, now let's pan on down.
But you can see,
Keep going.
You can see if you remember how I painted the Marilyn Monroe hair, for example. All the strands were painted in the color, and the hair up there is just plain white paint with black lines. Yeah. You have to do it simply because all of these paintings were put onto skin. And so this is the style that they have to use. So it's a lot more in your face, a lot more graphic.
She's a pistol packing mama, right? Because that's another gun coming out of the side hip. Is that right?
Well, I think that's her empty pocket. I think a gun was supposed to.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, how that gun fit in there, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I think there are bullets on the side.
Wow. And now let's get back down to those dramatic boots.
You like those
to
boots?
me, they look like butterflies on the top part and then bullets on the toes. I mean, really amazing. What we got there?
Well, there's a little bit of artistic license that I took, but those are very similar to what the tattoo artist did. And, I changed the colors. This had to work as a painting, not a tattoo.
Right.
But the tattoo style is a very graphic, very flat style. I mean, if you look at the shading of the skin, it's real simple. It's not modeled like you would have, like you had in the other Maryland pieces.
Now, I hate to ask this, but suppose someone who's out there watching us actually bears this tattoo, and he or she feels they have recourse against you for that. I hope not. Huh?
Well, all the photographs we've taken from tattoos, we got the permission from the people. They posed for us. I could show you all.
That'll be another show, I think.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
right.
Good. Yeah, because that's why I was concerned, and I certainly didn't want someone coming up and say, "What are you doing?"
No, I never could have taken the photographs unless they posed. Matter of fact, it was real. I mean. One of these paintings, one of the ones that's coming up, somebody had to completely almost strip to show us the tattoo.
Well, we want to see that right away. In fact, this is, as I told you, my favorite of this part of the series because of the dramatic colors going, instead of all the pastels, on just simplicity of blue, white, and black for the most part. There's some other colors. But look at this one. What's the name of this again?
This I call Dancing in the Street. Martha and the Vandellas.
Martha and couldn't do any better.
This is again from a local person. She's also an artist. She's a glass artist, and
cool.
And you can see at the top they're grapes, silhouettes and grapes, and the figures. And I remember her talking to me about the tattoo and what the significance was, but I don't really remember exactly what she said.
But now, when you said the tattoo artist, or are you talking about the person who bears the tattoo?
Well, let's see. There was I painted it. I'm an artist.
Right.
There was a tattoo artist that designed it.
Right.
And this tattoo is also on the arm of an artist.
So it's a triple art person.
It's a triple art.
Art. Yeah. Well, I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting lost there because you kept throwing out artists, and I didn't know whether we were referring to the person who had the tat or actually just the tattoo artist. But everybody's an artist in this one, so you can't. That's why it's so successful. And I didn't know those were grapes, but that really explains. I guess I was distracted.
You can kind of see the silhouette.
But I really like the formatted because again they're stylized almost. To me, not Art Deco, but that period where industrial type art, where they're not as realistic, but it's really, really a beautiful look to it.
Well, this is just an easier way for a tattoo artist to make the areas and fill in with ink. And so I think that's why you see a lot of that on the tattoos.
Sure. And once again, what was these sizes about? Because in case
this is 10 by 30.
10 by 30. And again, we're dealing in oil. So, folks, we've only got one more, but we've got a lot of time. So please don't hesitate to call us. again, review for everyone. We're talking to Lory Lockwood, who has her own website, LoryLockwood.com. And when you go there, don't say, well, that's not what I saw on TV, because you're going to see some of her older work where she was more geared into the wheels and the bikes and the sprockets. If you're a Harley Davidson fan, or your husband or your friend, he'll go crazy over it. So you're certainly that. And there's some other, I don't know if you have any of those sports stuff that you did, like the one I had gotten from you.
The LSU painting is still on the web. Unfortunately, my license expired. I had to get a license, and insurance, and everything. And LSU licensed the painting, and it was an amazing experience. It was really fun. But anyway, you can see that on the web in one of the painting sections.
Yeah. It's a great, like I said, for an LSU fan, because the original, I think you said, was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Size of a wall.
It was like 48 by 64.
Yeah. But then you made copies, smaller copies, which you were merchandising. And I was just so pleased because, like I say, the recipient has gotten over about. In fact, he keeps wanting to get it framed, and he can't figure out how to frame it properly. I should have told him to give it back to you. You'd done it justice.
Well, you're really lucky to have that because we can't sell them anymore.
I'm going to tell him that now.
Yeah,
he's an LSU grad, and of course, very proud of it. And so, anyway, I'll just add more to the story. And as we mentioned, she does most of her work in the Mid-City Studios, which is also available for you to go look, along with her other compadres, about 30 during the winter season, about early December, in time for you to do some Christmas shopping. So if you want to check them out, I think they have a website, you said, as well, Mid-City Art?
Yes, it's midcitystudios.org.
Midcitystudios.org for details of location and when that'll be. But it's a weekend usually, I know. And
it's December 6th, and I think it's December 6th and 7th. It's the first weekend in December. Right. And if you go to the website, you will see the work of all the artists there. Every artist has a page, and a lot of times, if they have a website, it will refer to their website also. I've got some cars and motorcycles on that too.
There you go. So that'll be great. But then more importantly, we're going to go ahead and take a look at her last painting and then re-emphasize where these will be seen, so you can go and meet Lory in the flesh and actually see these things up close. Because once again, even though we love our show, at the same time, there's nothing like seeing art in the reality of being one-on-one with it. So let's take a look now. Remember, we're in the Phase 3 or Series 3 of Marilyn and the Dream Girls, and these are the tattoos, and kind of coming from the well, we won't go over that relationship again. Let's take this one, but this one was definitely looks like a religious one. So please explain this.
It's very interesting to see what people think and what they feel by what they inscribe onto their bodies, and this was obviously a very religious person. This is more of an Hispanic religious type. I really don't know too much about that type of religion, but you've got the thorns and the flowers and the skulls, and if you look closely, you will see skulls on the robe.
Right.
And this is called Lady Madonna, taken from the Beatles, which might not really work with the Spanish part, but I liked it. It's fun.
I know a little bit about this, is that in the Mexican version, or the Spanish version, it's really Our Lady of Guadalupe. Mm-hmm. And it's a mixture of that, which supposedly when the young girl came with flowers wrapped up in her garments to visit the site, and she had a vision of Mary when she opened it up, then all the flowers came out, and so she took back words, sort of like Fatima, but the Mexican version. But now the skulls, which are interesting, how they coordinate this, is just like with some of the Mayan Indian things. They use this for the Cemetery of the Dead, and they have a whole celebrations of that. So they've kind of intertwined it and put the religions, which is very interesting. For if you travel not only to Mexico but Central America, you'll see where the Mayan romance and religion is mixed with Christianity and fused together in all kind of strange concepts, but it just really awakens you to your own spirituality. So I think this one, for someone like, say, either not only on Spanish, but just from the religious aspect, it's just really well done. And whoever is wearing this certainly should be proud.
This was taken off, a photograph of someone's back, and it was all over her back.
The whole back, I bet. Huh?
Yeah, and we were at this motorcycle show, and we must have seen part of it, or maybe we saw another tattoo. But I have a photograph of her taking her shirt off the back of her head, and bending over and kind of looking this way and posing for us.
Okay.
But,
so you really didn't see the whole thing, is that right?
No, I saw the whole tattoo.
Oh, okay.
But it was all over her back. I mean, It was huge and
it's got to be huge, yeah.
Beautifully.
Even if it was a
done.
petite person, still that's got to be huge.
Very big, very big.
Wow.
But she was from California, so maybe that's more of the.
Well, also she would be probably very well educated in that particular religious doctrine with regard to the Spanish community, especially the Mexican community.
But it was a beautiful tattoo.
Well, you really got. That's interesting how you transitioned, but certainly the tattoo, you couldn't get a better place to see tattoos, but then at these biker shows, because there's certainly a relationship between the bike and the tat, huh?
Well, and the bikers have a whole thing about skulls also, and I think for the bikers, the skull is sort of their run-in with possible death every time they go on a bike.
Yes, their adventure in the spirit.
Right. Yeah. So there are a lot of tattoos that we didn't put in here because they weren't dream girls, but they were eagles and American flags and all that kind of skulls, all that kind of thing. So.
Well, really neat, folks. I hope you've enjoyed as well. Now, we've got a little more time, so hopefully you'll give us a call because we'd love to answer some more questions. But let's review again what Lory Lockwood has been nice enough to come in and bring us a whole slew of her new series. And she still has more, so don't feel like there's no need to go to the show now. You've seen everything she's got. As we mentioned, the mannequins alone, I think she said they had 20, and we saw just maybe 4.
I think they're over 40 paintings in the show.
Wow. Okay. So great. Wow.
So there'll be a lot to see.
A lot to see as well. So again, Lory Lockwood. Remember the name. Easy to remember. The only hard part is no I, just a Y for Lory. So you can go to her website. You can go to the Lawrenson Christian, if you can spell it, website. Because you really and also go to midcitystudios.org.
And the Soren website is Soren Gallery. That's easy.
And how's that spelled? THOREN?
SOREN.
You see? SOREN.
Gallery.
Soren, not the. It's not a th, it's a sore. So SOREN Gallery.
Do you want to tell them about that painting, or I can tell them about
Yeah, that's what we're going to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just want to make sure everybody knows where to go. SorenGallery.org or .com? .com. And you can get specific details about the show and the thing. But remember, it's June 6th, starting on June 4th, running probably for about a month.
Until the end of June.
Until the end of the whole month of June. But the Saturday night is always a fun time to go because of seeing all the people and all the things, plus being able to meet the artists.
Yeah, come. I want to meet all of you. That would be great.
There you go. Sure. Now, let's go back. We want to go back over this really great invitation, which is a painting in itself. And hopefully we can get a good, since it's small, it's harder for me to
I couldn't bring all the paintings, but this is a large painting, just as big as the other big Maryland.
Oh, so it's one of the real large ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great.
And this is a photo. This is based from photographs that I took looking into the window. Inside the window was Marilyn, and again, it was a cutout. I know probably you all have seen the cutouts.
And was she holding this flag?
No, the flag was hanging down from another part of the window display. And if you look carefully at the bottom, I guess for you all it'd be the bottom left, you can see an alarm sticker down the bottom, and so that shows you're on a window. And so when you take a photograph of looking into a window, you also get the reflection, and they merge together in the glass. It almost looks like a double exposure. So that's a building in the background, but it fuses together, and you can see in Marilyn's chest there, you can kind of see the reflection of one of the windows on top of her body, and you can see the railing of the porch across the street kind of go through her body. So it's really a merging of what's inside and out on the glass. You can even see the bars open down at the bottom. See the open sign?
Yeah, I think this is probably, of the ones we've seen, the most significant one where you can make out those. I know we talked about some of the others, but most of it seemed to be interior shots, and so therefore things within the building or in the window, so it wasn't as dramatic as seeing an exterior shot of the building across. So this one really brings home that point, which, like I say, really adds to, I think, a three-dimension type of approach to it, which I don't know whether you intended that or not.
Yeah, no. My work all
you didn't
started
take credit
with
for that?
reflections.
Okay. I thought you were going to take credit.
Right.
I thought that was all an artist's speciality.
No, reflections, I mean, no matter what kind of subject matter I use, reflections of any kind are always sort of at the base, or are at the base of everything.
Well, great. Well, again, we want to thank Lory Lockwood for coming in today. As you know, we're here at the end of the month doing Artist Review. We do appreciate our callers all the time, and if someone wants to call in the last few minutes, we'd be happy to take the calls because we just got a couple more before we close. But Lory does want to once again extend that invitation to come out and meet her. If you can make that particular Saturday, or you've got some friends at another gallery and you get consumed there, we understand. But don't hesitate to try and go either another daytime or make an appointment with the gallery to see it, because I think you'll the magnitude alone of the amount of work will realize the amount of detail and the work that she's put into this. So we're really all pleased that we could get her on right in time for her show opening, which is only less than a week away, huh?
Yes, it's getting very close.
Yeah.
I still have one painting to finish.
Oh my goodness!
I know we're not quite finished. This is always the way it happens. I have one really big painting. It's 40 by 60. It's actually the biggest in the show, and it's taken from a window in a bar uptown on Calhoun Street called Robert's Bar.
Robert's Bar, I know where that is.
And it's got Marilyn Monroe and the American flag, and they've changed a lot of the neon, but it's all got neon signs all in front of it. And it's going to be called Starlight because you have the stars in the American flag. You have a huge painting of Marilyn Monroe, and then you have the stars from all the neon beer signs. So,
well, good luck with my goodness. I can't believe I thought the show was wrapped.
It would be nice to be finished.
Yeah,
before
I thought
your show starts, wouldn't it?
I didn't think. I mean, I know artists sometimes are never pleased, like their work's always a work in progress. But I thought at least when they get ready to do a show that everything is ready.
Oh no!
To
Sometimes you walk in and the paint's wet, Bob.
Wow!
That's just what are you going to do?
Well, again, please accept our appreciation for coming in. I know the folks, not the ones who called in, but the ones who watch this, and for those who don't know, remember you can see this 4 times besides the live show today. You can see it Friday night or late night, people, 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon if you're in, and it'll wind up with 3 a.m. next Wednesday. As you know, we do restaurant review all the other months, so if you miss these 4 times, you're going to have to wait a while. We're trying to work on our website. It's been a work in progress, and one day that will be ready for you. So we'll see you at the gallery, and we'll see you at Lory's studio.